All right, so in this one, we are going to be reacting to Goresh's ranking the characters I've hated the most throughout the game's history. So clearly, this is an opinion-based ranking of very toxic units, right? I assume naming Goku, FSK, VB, Purple DBS Broly, the run through of these toxic units that have ruled over the game. Essentially, if you're too good above the meta, then you become toxic, right? So it's like FSK. Well, his peak prime was clearly 10 miles above anybody below him, right? Then you have like Android 18, who was just like this other very good unit, but clearly just inferior to FSK. That type of unit. So I assume it's going to be very, very overpowered units, and I'm curious to see what he thinks. So let us begin. And this is a very long video, so expect this video to be also a very long video. By the way, when I pause and say, oh, X or Y or X or Y, it's just me saying my opinion on that matter, that I think X unit would be more toxic, or X unit was more toxic, or blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, let's get into it. I've seen some talk of this and some discussion, and I want to watch it to, well, get my reaction, because that's what we're doing here. Let's begin.
Hey guys, so today we're going to do a bit of a different, like, ranking video, top 10 video. This is going to be a list of my top 10 most hated characters ever.
Okay.
In this game, and this was a very, very difficult list to create. I like every once in a while doing videos like this. I did one of these going through like the top 10 most overpowered characters in the game's history. Of course, you guys know I do my top 10 best characters in the game list, usually monthly. By the way, I've had some people ask about that. I will be doing my list, but I am intentionally waiting for the Ultra to come out, which I believe should be this coming week. Because I believe yes, this Ultra probably will have a pretty substantial impact on the game. So I really wanted to wait before I did my list until we got that character. We're expecting it to be some kind of Ultra Boo. Final big release for the anniversary. And typically what they like to do with those characters, before anniversary, before Legends festivals, they usually like to just make them ridiculously overpowered.
Droids.
Because this one seems like it's going to be an Ultra, for tags that really need help, I'm expecting this guy to be like just straight up the best character in the game. So that's why I'm intentionally doing my updated list.
Nom.
Again, this video is going to be focused on my top 10 most hated characters of all time in this game. I am somebody that has been playing this game since beta, so I didn't really go out of my way to do this, but
just to say, I guess since he said it is, I've been playing since first anniversary. Like 2 days prior to first anniversary, I downloaded this game. Then on first anniversary, I re-rolled accounts. If you don't know what re-rolling is, you delete the app, reinstall, and you keep going back in for like the free CC, because there was like top grossing CC. There was like, I think, a full rotation of CC back then. You keep re-rolling accounts until you get something you want. I kept re-rolling on that, day of, or like 2 days before, something like that. And that's when I started. So first year, he started during beta, so literally over a year before me he started. So he knows more about these older units than I do, like DBS Purple Broly. I never experienced DBS Purple Broly. I never experienced Blue GT Pan or these other toxic units. I watched videos and I saw them like very, very rarely, but I didn't experience these units. So if there's like older units, I'll have no opinion. I don't have an experience with them, but everything else, like Goku, these toxic asses, oh, I was there for that.
There is pretty fair representation of like every time period throughout this game's history of characters on this list, and this was a very tough list to make. It was really hard to only narrow it down to 10 characters I really hated. So what I did was I actually created I guess runner-up / honorable mention team. So it's going to be 6 honorable mentions before we jump into the list, which we'll go into in a second here. But even outside of the list and outside of the honorable mentions, there's a bunch of characters that I could have included, but I did not. So some of those guys include, like Zenkai Red Gohan, I didn't include on the list. I actually did not include Ultra Gogeta Blue on the list. I think a lot of people would probably have him on their lists.
Wait, there's no FSK? Wait, what? Wait. Did I mishear that? I didn't mishear that.
Honorable mentions before we jump into the list, which we'll go into in a second here. But even outside of the list and outside of the honorable mentions, there's a bunch of characters that I could have included, but I did not. So some of those guys include, like Zenkai Red Gohan, I didn't include on the list.
That's
I actually
FSK.
did not include.
What? I don't. Is there reasoning?
Ultra
I don't
Gogeta
understand.
Blue on the list. I think a lot of people would
UGB.
probably have him on their lists. But the reason why I didn't include him was just because I actually don't really have that big of an issue with his gauge. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of times where it can be annoying.
Okay, let me make the FSK. I'll wait for an explanation. But UGB, I understand this. I wouldn't say I would. Maybe I'd fully agree. I don't know, but I don't fully agree. Like right now, hearing that, right? I will say, Ultra Gogeta Blue. Listen, it's a little bit overrated, that gauge. I know there's a lot of players that play and they're just not like, they don't want this allowance of, hey, you get a free hit on me because, well, you did cards. And I get that. You don't want that. But also the case being that that gauge does not do that much. There is VT, there is Roshi, I know overrated, but still, he's still a yellow. There is Forku, there is Evo, there is USV, there's 5 yellows, there's GT70, there's LS17, there's the new Transforming Cell, there's Zamasu, there's units that just eat the fuck. I mean, Puddle even, you could name him. There is over 10 units that can eat the fuck out of this Ultra Gogeta Blue's little gauge, blue card, ultimate, whatever he does off of it, and then you can just continue on from there, move on. You won't take really that much damage. Every unit in the game heals astronomically too much in this game. And then from there, I do agree his gauge is a pretty big gap of overrated. It used to be like, yeah, that shit was a problem. Like now, I think it's just beyond overrated, his gauge. Like, yes, it's tedious. I don't disagree, but okay, what's worse? Somebody one-carding you with a blast or just being tedious as fuck? It's not like Ultra Gogeta Blue is this unkillable god. It's more players don't pop his gauge, so okay, he feels unkillable because I can't click my blast. You can't click your blast. It's just annoying that you gotta reset your combo and essentially catch them twice, but you can't click your cards. It's not like UGB is this undying god. I think he's actually a tad bit overrated on his gauge because it doesn't really do that much. Like, yes, it can hurt you. They got Pan, it's gonna be a bitch, but like, compare it to getting one carded or something similar to that in like a very toxic setting. It's not that bad. It's annoying, but like, it's not that harmful to you. There's so many yellows in this game. Evo goes on a few teams. 4 could go on a few teams. Puddle could go on teams. There is yellows that can flow, and it's like, GT17, bulkiest guy in the world right now. LF17, cancels all the stuff that can make that blue card hit as hard as it can with like pan support, right? So you have these units that can just make it not just be as dominant. Yeah, I don't fully think UGB is like that bad. Like in comparison to like other things we've had, he doesn't even touch like any similarity to it. He's not even in the realm, I would say. I know people would disagree with that, but like UGB is really not in the realm of like
and
that
I
bad.
did think about including him in the honorable mentions, but I don't know.
Spit.
You guys will
spit
see
your stuff.
Cole.
Oh.
He's
Watch your ads.
child.
Watch ads on this video. Watch ads on Goresh's video. Watch his video as well.
Throughout this list, that there is a very common theme of what constitutes characters that I hate in this game. And those characters, most often, you guys will see, include mechanics that just really are based on RNG. And those mechanics include locking. That's probably not the number one thing you guys will see on this list is the locking mechanic. No switching mechanic. That's like the number one thing I actually just despise the most. Then we have paralysis and faint, which again is just
so I assume Rose. I assume Hercule.
Sometimes in the fight, and that's just the way it goes. And then fainting is just you're stunned for like 10 counts. So yeah, very fun mechanics that make this game a joy to play.
No idea.
And yeah, I guess we'll take a look at the honorable mentions first before we jump into the list. Let's go ahead and take a look at the team that I've built, and I'll explain why the characters are on there.
Let's look closely
so
here.
Here are my 6 on.
All right, let me just look at them before. What? All right, so I looked at the last one. I think we all looked at the last one. Namek? All right, I want to hear the explanation when we get there, but just skimming through. Namek Goku, by the way, just to point out something. I understand what he just said. It's going to be toxic traits of lock-in, feint, paralysis, bullshit shit. You know what I mean. Bullshit, right? Namek Goku, I understand he wasn't like that, but he was also, you can't play the actual fucking game, so that's why I think he's the most toxic in the entire game. They literally changed the game because he existed. Kefla, I guess because it was Kefla and VB. Okay, Broly? maybe this was before Zenkai, because on Zenkai he was alright. He wasn't anything godly. Red Gogeta, because of Bardock, I assume, which wouldn't that be Bardock's placement, but we'll hear it. Green Bardock locks in. IT Goku. IT Goku's kind of like Namek Goku. They both wanted to just run away and just do a blue card off, well, doing nothing.
Honorable mentions.
Let me hear some
here.
things here.
So we have Green Kefla starting out the list of honorable mentions here.
Why?
I'm just going to give a brief explanation for each character. Green Kefla, the main thing about her was once she got a combo started back, this is obviously when her initial release was, not when her Zenkai was. Back when she got a combo started, it was pretty much lights out for somebody. She got insane amounts of damage. Back when she came out, there were very little cover change characters, no special cover change characters. Well, there were, but there was very, very few. There was like purple.
Yes, to an extent, but it's more because she was run with VB. Like, prior to VB, she was run with, like, I think it was Red Go Tanks and somebody else. I'm not too keen on it. I played, but, like, I just don't fully remember it. Because Red Go Tanks and her dropped the pre-Annie bait, basically, right? She supported while being very good on damage, but also Mertz Masu was literally a strike cover change purple, so he existed, and he did kind of, like, hurt her. He didn't ruin her, but like he hurt her pretty well. So
a few other.
I don't think it was that bad.
Had to look out.
It was a short time as well for Kefla.
That's not how the meta was back then. People weren't just special cover changing every other combo with characters. Like you were able to actually combo, because this was back before you could this was back before you could cover change multiple times per combo.
Yeah,
that was a mechanic that was added when Vegito Blue came out during the second anniversary.
VB Kefla, you have all strikes. She literally makes strikes.
Kefla, I mean, she had feint on her ultimate, which basically meant you lost a character guaranteed if she got the feint off, which pretty much meant you lost the match. So that's always a great mechanic. And just overall a ridiculous character that healed, that supported. So yeah, she was ridiculous on launch. Then we have the Blue Broly, obviously the initial release of the character. He was by far the best character.
Blue Broly, I have no recollection. He said initial release, no fucking clue. I just want to hear this because, well, I'm curious. I didn't play.
When he came out. This is actually the first banner that released on the game post-launch.
Oh.
So the initial launch banner, we had the Red Goku, Yellow Pycon, Blue Pan, Green Piccolo. And
How is Blue Broly the first banner and he doesn't have a fucking LF DBZ Broly? Are you kidding me?
The Blue Broly Legends Rising banner. He was by far the best character in the game. You had to, like, your team had to consist of Blue Broly and Green Piccolo, or else you couldn't play the game.
Oh, because
his blue card had a chance to inflict feint, which back in the day, if you actually got lucky and got the feint multiple times per match, like there was, even Green Piccolo wasn't gonna, like, because the best team in the game back then was Blue Broly, Green Piccolo, and Purple Vegeta. So what you did was you feinted somebody with Broly, like even if you feinted Piccolo with Broly, you got to go under Vegeta and he would crush Piccolo, right?
Olden days.
So yeah, this Broly was ridiculous. It was just whoever feinted the other person first pretty much won the match. So it was really dumb. Then we have Red Gogeta. This is one of the few exceptions on this list where I actually have him on the list because of his post Zenkai abilities. So this is not the initial release of the Red Gogeta. This is the Zenkai release of Gogeta. Just a really, really annoying character to fight. I remember when he got his Zenkai, he was extremely good. People ran him all over the place. He was almost a must run. And you would run him with like Blue Bardock for the crits and stuff like that. Yeah. But again, another character that feints. So the first three characters on this list, we have all
yeah, but was it Red Gogeta annoying, or was it Bardock's amplifying the shit out of every Super Saiyan in the entire game annoying? I'd more say that's Bardock's fault than Red Gogeta. I get he could feint. It's like 20-30% chance. I think if it's like higher than 30, I think Broly has like 40% chance. Some DVC Brolys, I think this blue one does. Then yeah, it's more on like the feint mechanic, but like Red Gogeta, that was just Super Saiyan. Oh my god, I just choked on air. That was just Super Saiyans, to be honest. Like every Super Saiyan Zenkai that was like 2% decent. Alrighty, let's go. Slap with Bardock, they look overpowered. I don't know if that's all Red Gogeta. It's kind of like Kefla.
Fainted on his blue card. He had card speed. Had a really annoying green card that really, I mean, it wasn't like a game ender if he landed it, but kind of got in the way of things at some point. But yeah, this character was super annoying to feint. The damage he did was crazy. It seemed like he actually just comboed forever, because back when this guy got his Zenkai, we didn't have any characters that like lowered card draw speed or stuff like that. So just a crazy Zenkai when he released.
True.
Then we have Green Bardock.
He locks in.
This was the first character to inflict no switching. And he has a traditional no switching main ability, which was 10 timer counts of no switching straight up. Which means that if you had somebody in a combo and you pressed that main ability, you were going to kill them.
Just to say, I'm going to assume Yellow Movie Gohan's on here. Crazy concept. He also locks in. Maybe he could be on here.
There was literally nothing they could do to escape getting no switched. Because back in the day, I mean, this is a character that is like the first like 2-3 months of the game launching was when this Bardock came out, this green Bardock. He actually came out with the first blast armor character, which was the blue pod Frieza. So his banner introduced the no switching mechanic and the blast armor mechanic on strike cards with that blue pod Frieza. That's how old this character is. But yeah, he was crazy. You lock somebody with him, you just killed them, and there was really nothing they could do. There's no counterplay. I mean, there still is no counterplay to getting locked in, but at least now units have mechanics and tools to be able to like stall, get their vanish back, destroy Dragon Balls,
no counterplay.
Stuff like
it's
that.
sad, but it's funny.
Back in the day, you didn't have characters that had mechanics anywhere close to doing that. So you got locked in, you just died. Okay, so now we have the two characters on the bottom, which are kind of similar. We have IT Goku, and then we have Namek Goku. Namek Goku clearly is the non-Zenkai release, the initial release of Namek Goku. The reason why I didn't have Namek Goku
like both. Oh, hello. What the hell is going on in this ad? What is this?
Like my actual list is because they fixed his issue real quick. The issue with this blue Namek Goku... No, they did not. They attempted twice. They failed both times. They made Tackle into... You guys remember? Maybe you don't remember. I remember it was near Heat Dome Trunks' banner. I believe right there, prior to second anniversary. We still had the tech where you could do sidestep, dash forward, tackle, continue combo. So it would be a continuous combo. You could not end it from there. And that didn't change Namek Goku. It made it maybe a lot easier to approach, but it would ruin everything else. And then they had to revoke that and then get what we have now to where we have, okay, you lose Ki, okay, you lose Vanish when you're backfloating too much. But they ruined this new introduction of Tackle. They ruined the implementation of it. They ruined every sequence because they were trying so hard to stop Namek Goku. They fucked it over twice. So they didn't get that right for months, Namek Goku's nerf. He was still him for months after. They just helped stop him, but they ruined everything else. So does that really make it, oh, Namek Goku got nerfed? No, it's more they ruined everything, and then Namek Goku got hurt in the process. But it didn't take till months till Namek Goku got, like, his hurt. And to be real, it's really not that bad. You don't need to just be like this to win the game with Namek Goku. It's honestly playing a more offense than defense role that he was a lot better, but people just didn't fucking care to think, so they didn't do that. Namek Goku, he was a little bit more than, you know, Kefla or Red Gogeta or all these motherfuckers here, honestly. Red Gogeta, all of them. Namek Goku, months on months. Too long. Trust me, I had the Legends gas brain cells because, you know, I just started playing. Namek Goku came out like 2 months later. Oh my god, wow, this unit's a little fucking crazy. All right. I was doing well with him. 2 months into the game, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I should be getting, you know, fucked up by every single player in the world, and I'm winning. And it's like, oh, maybe this unit's a little bit too good. And lo and behold, he was. Yeah, yes, he was. For a long time. He got zero... Like, he didn't get penalized at all for just backfloating the entire time, and you really couldn't do anything.
That's why he's most toxic! You didn't play the game!
He attacked and he countered you, and that was it. You couldn't really lose.
Last thing I'll say on Namek Goku, what would you prefer? That you could click cards and then kill? Maybe a little bit, 2 little cards, you know, 2 cards FSK, boom, get a kill. 3 cards in total, boom, end a match. Or, I know that sounds shitty, but the other is nobody clicks a card, and you're just existing against one another for the entire match. What sounds more toxic / boring? I would say existing, doing nothing. You literally aren't even playing the game at that point. That's more toxic.
Which was obviously incredibly annoying. So they actually changed the way that backfloating works, and until this day, actually,
it stayed that way because of him.
Backfloating at long range, you lose Vanish, you lose Ki, stuff like that. So that sort of crippled the cheese strategy with the Namek Goku. But the reason why he's not on the actual list is just because I feel like he was in a really good spot after they changed that. And I think he was designed actually really well. Because the counter, I mean, obviously, you could, even today, if you still use him and still try to use him.
That's
the counter does reward you for playing well.
It's not good design.
The opponent for playing.
That's not good design. How Namegoku works. That is terrible design.
I'm not really going to harp too much on that Namegoku prior to the backfloating thing being changed, because it was only for a short period of time, and they realized that they made a mistake, and that was one of the few times where they actually admitted it and changed the game because of it. IT Goku is just, I mean, I do even have to explain IT Goku. He's just literally, his blue card is a better version of Namegoku's blue card that actually can feint you. So,
I wouldn't say it's better.
There's really
definitely not better.
I mean, he
does lose vanish, but like it
back when he released, I mean,
has more toxic capabilities. I guess.
Again, characters didn't have the same kind of tools we have these days, where you can get your vanish back.
All right, that was an interesting honorable mentions. Let's get into the main ones here.
That this guy would be at least somewhere on
number 10.
On your
I would not disagree. I don't know how, if Namegoku's not number 1, I'm very confused how that's gonna work. But Fat Boo number 10, I would say he'd probably go even like higher, meaning he'd go like, okay, 6, 7, 5, 4 type of area, because how long he ruled, even on initial release, I think he was pretty good, if I remember from hearing about him and watching videos on him. But on Zenkai release, clearly him and DKP, that duo was months and months and months and months and months and months. And now look at him again. He's attempting to come back. He's not really, but like he's attempting to. And still his toxic trait of lock-in and sealing and all this shit is still, well, relevant. So I would say this unit could actually move up quite a bit here, but I'd agree he'd be on a top 10 of, well, being toxic as shit. Yes, that is the description of Fat Boo, toxic as shit. So I'm actually gonna scroll through this here. I just click chapters. Oh my god.
I don't like chapters. Number 9 on the list, we have Purple Full Power Bojack. So for those of you who did not play back when this character was...
Yes, I agree. I actually think this is a good spot for him, to be honest, because while he wasn't the most toxic in the world, nobody had Cover Null. They actually made Vegito Blue have Cover Null and Ultimate, not because, oh, you know, he should just have it because he's Vegito Blue. No, they made it because they were saying Purple Bojack can literally stop Ultimates. We have to give our anniversary unit some big shine move. Unlike 3rd anniversary, because 3rd anniversary, you know, part 1 was a fucking flop. They gave VB some big shine move with Cover Null on Ultimate. Prior to a lot of units ever having Cover Null at all, VB has no Cover Null anywhere else in his kit even to this day, because this guy would cover change on Ultimates. So yes, he was clearly very toxic. They had to make a specific thing for a specific LF to feel more incentivized to summon for. That was anniversary. So yeah, this guy was pretty toxic, but he wasn't... His team, he was the second most toxic. That Transformer Vegeta just did very good damage. He wasn't toxic. Really, he wasn't. Yellow Luffy Gohan clearly was toxic. He locked in. Bojack, though, in comparison to that Gohan, he was a lesser evil. Especially because, well, that Gohan was yellow. Bojack was clearly put in his place a lot of matches than not. But, yeah, infinite cover change, given it did take your HP, probably sounds a little busted. Lo and behold, it was.
You know, new and one of the top 3 best characters in the game, if not just straight up number 1 or number 2. This guy has still, honestly, probably the most broken cover change ability in the entire game, which is against all arts attacks.
Yes. Bro, these ads are crazy. Like, again, watch ads, but like, so I wouldn't want to watch these ads.
Right now, we all are very annoyed and not very fond of the quote-unquote universal cover change characters. Now, when we say nowadays universal cover change, we're talking about characters that have the ability to cover change against both Strike and Blast Arts cards. Right. When this guy has the true
ultimate
universal cover change.
He has the...
Not only can he
has the Ultra Broly cover change, so... Yeah.
Cover change against Strike and Blast cards, but he can cover change against green cards and blue cards as well. And there's no limit. So, like, take Ultra Gogeta Blue, for example, or Beast Gohan, LF Beast Gohan, or Ultra Hit. All 3 of those characters have what we call nowadays universal cover changes against Strike and Blast cards, and they can only use them twice per match. After you use them twice, you can no longer cover change again. This Bojack has cover change against Blast, Strike, blue cards, and green cards, and there's no limit.
Why are you
So
forgetting?
you can do it as many times as you want in a fight. The only downside to
Pretty
this
sure.
is you end up
Am I wrong?
losing 15%
That's why VP is cover null
HP
on
on the character that you cover changed out of. But that is a very, very small price. Like you would have obviously taken more damage than that.
I'm gonna assume it's just because his cover change is kind of broken. Yes, that is the reason I would say as well. So I agree with this. I do think this area for him is actually pretty spot on. Let's see number 8 then.
Number 8, we have the tag.
What? Wait. Huh? He said lock-in? Faint, paralyze is usually the big things. Obviously, overall cover change, that's broken as shit. Yes. Lock-in, Fat Boo. They have no trait. No, they actually can lock in, right? They do lock in with like the Rising Rush thing, but that's not, dude, that's once a match. And it's not even like always happening. Like it's consistent, but like it's not 100%. It's like 80%. I am interested in this one. I'm more curious than interested. Okay, let's
saying
listen up
here. I really, really hate this character. Not so much nowadays because they've sort of been shut down the totem pole a bit. They're still really good now, but they're not what they once were. Not even close. But back when this character released, I just feel like they're one of the, I don't really know how to put this. They're one of the most annoying characters to fight.
Because they're green?
And they're one of the most slippery characters to fight. They have, of course, their AoE green card. They have the sub count reduction if you try to rush them or use an ultimate on them. So they're very tough to kill. And they just feel like, what's the way to put it? Nowadays, they just feel like a gnat. Right? They're just flying around annoying you.
What?
Not really bothering you or like doing much damage to you, but they're just like annoying. They're not like a massive threat to you, right? It's very tough to describe the way I feel about this character, but it's sort of how I feel about them. Vegeta is hitting you with like 15 million cards, but they're all doing like 0 damage. Exactly. But in the meantime, I guess he is collecting a Rising Rush. They're restoring Vanish via their blue card, which they draw whenever you go to Goku. I don't know. I really, really don't like this character. The cover null, the anti special cover change ability they have, the cover null that they have is just like it's so easy to get. You just have to have 3 members left alive, right, on your team. I just 3
enemy members.
I don't know. It's hard to. It's really tough.
Wait. Their cover null is 3 enemy battle members. Once you kill somebody, their cover null is gone. That's not. Yeah, so that cover null is pretty shit, to be honest. Like, you could argue VT has like a low-key better cover null, depending like how the match is going and how they're keeping their units alive and how fast the rush is going and like how fast units die. You could argue VT has a better cover null than the 4s at some points. So their cover null is not that great, to be honest. Well, like,
I sat down and I thought about this for a second before I hit the record button here, but it is actually pretty tough for me to put into words like why exactly I just despise fighting this character.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I don't know. I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's probably the combination of this character being on the same team with a cover rescue character, the Yellow Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Because a lot of times you try and drop against this character because you're scared that
and then they green card you.
So you're trying to
I get it. Like, I don't think they deserve being on his list any capacity of the word. Don't get me wrong, but I get his sentiment. Like, they're fucking annoying, bro. Now to say I hate them, I wouldn't hate a unit that's just, they're doing their thing. They're AoE greening. Yeah, it's a bitch, but like, if you're gonna say this unit's on the list because they AoE green, and that's seemingly majority of the reasoning because they have annoying just sequences of like, okay, they could vanish multiple times because they had a blue card and then Goku did the blue card full hand, blah, blah, blah. They could be annoying. That's like saying, I don't even know a comparison to a unit. Ultra Gogeta Blue. If he's not on the list, that doesn't make much sense because, he can get Vanish back multiple times. He gets Vanish back on Rising Rush. He can stop you from having Endurance for 99.9% of the game because of his Rising Rush Endurance nullification. Like, there's slipperiness in like a lot of units that are a lot more toxic than this unit, and that's kind of where I get confused, especially because even their team, like, I'm not gonna say their team's bad, but like it's not top tier. It's kind of underwhelming to an extent because their third unit just is Pan or GT17, and GT17 just has better teams to flow on. Pan is just needed to amplify them because, like you said, they don't really hit that hard. They hit okay, but they don't hit that hard in comparison to what they should be doing to other units that are modernized to them. But I get this sentiment of they're just a fucking pest, but I don't think they deserve here. I truly do get it. I hate the 4s when they just, oh, here's a green, oh, here's a blue, oh, here's a green. Just let me fucking kill you is like what I'm thinking when I fight them. I get it. I still don't think they make it though. It's funny to hear him just say, I don't fucking know, but like,
you're fighting against with this character doesn't decide to switch, and they vanish your drop combo, boom, you just get hit by a green card, then they get cover null, and then they're comboing you for like 15 counts. Yeah. They kind of feel like a slightly less, I guess, more watered down version of the tag androids, which, by the way, yes, we will be getting to them. But
I forgot about that.
I don't know. It's just a very annoying character to fight. I'm not particularly that threatened by them anymore as we were back when they came out.
Not really, like a little bit.
They were really, really good. But yeah, this character is annoying to fight. I don't know. I just do not like fighting them. Number 8 on the list, Tag Force.
Interesting. Number 7, I feel it's going to be interesting as well. If we're putting the 4s, I feel like number 7 could be similar. This is interesting so far.
Number 7 on the list is going to be our.
Well, I wasn't wrong. What? Don't tell me it's because the AoE green. Come on. I think his blue can paralyze. Is that what's happening here? Majub! What did bro do? All he did when I ever fought him was he did no damage, but he AoE greened me, and he pissed me off because of that. That's what he did to me. The impact he had was not enough to hate him. That's just it. Like, okay, to give like a sequence where if like a unit had enough impact to hate them would be an example of Ultra Rose. He has so much impact right now and so much bullshit where it feels like he auto spawns greens and blues left and right. Has paralyzed that could be inflicted. When he gets paralyzed, I hate him. I think he could make a list like this. If that happens, right? If that's a consistent thing of paralyze, he's infinite spawning greens and blues. We already know this. Ultras just innately do that for whatever reason they fucking do. But like, if unit has that much consistency of being good as like output, and then he could destroy Dragon Ball, seal your main, reduce key, reduce cardinal speed. They just have overall good kit, and they're toxic. Then that makes more sense to me. Not annoying, but toxic. You get what I mean? Like the tag droids, he'll mention them here, but they're in that boat as well. Majub kind of sucks, but he's annoying. I don't think that constitute as the same things. I feel like there's no like equivalency. Again, it's his own opinion, but for like what I'm trying to determine as like, is it bad enough for this unit? Like how annoying they were to force it here? For me, I don't think so, but I'm going to assume AoE green, and I think he could paralyze somewhere.
We all hated fighting this guy.
All right,
I don't know if it's actually true or not, but it always felt like I don't know what to even call it, like the wind-up time for this guy's green card to go off, the AoE green card. It always felt like it was instant. Like,
it is. Okay, so I think people don't know this. There's different AoE type of green cards. There's fast and normal startup, and then there's a short, long, and then middle ending to it. So for an example, Majub has a fast startup. He has the same startup as Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku, but Majub, I do believe, has a long animation. That means if you miss that AoE Guru Majub, you get comboed. You're caught, you can get comboed, you can't sidestep out, you're done. Super Saiyan 3 GT Goku, to compare him, he has a fast startup, but you can also sidestep out, similar to Maj and Vegeta. You can sidestep out if you miss. Now, Maj and Vegeta has a normal startup and normal length, right? You can sidestep out, but it's not fast startup like Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku and then Majub. Then, a different one, I know this is very convoluted and complicated, it's stupid, but it's how it is. UI Omen, for example, similar to Majub, but the startup is normal, like MV, but if you do miss it, it's a long animation. I think it's Revhan, right? Yeah, Purple Revhan also has an AoE green. It's normal like blue MV. There's a lot of different animation lengths. Majub and Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku have fast animations. Long animation for Majub, you miss it, you're cooked, you're getting comboed. Super Saiyan 3, you can just sidestep out. You won't get caught. At least you're not forced caught, right? You can obviously get caught, but you're not forced caught because you missed your AoE green. So he does have a fast startup. Yes, and he also spawns green. So yes.
you look at the tag fours, which we just talked about.
Tag fours are the same as MV.
Use their green card in a fight. Like the other character has to actually like teleport in, and then they start pausing for a second, and then the green card effect goes off. This Oob, you press the green card, you just like like it just goes off instantly. And you have no time to react.
Yeah.
At least with the tag fours, you have like a split second to think about what you're
doing. No one versus fast startups. That's why they don't do fast startups. No one has fast startups now.
Green card. It's like
those two did. They're on the same banner.
So I don't know if that's
that GT buff
for them to make like the animation so short on the green card activation, but it's actually instantaneous and it provides like zero time to react.
But they never did it again. So.
I mean, on top of the fact that he actually just has an AoE green card, it's just such a dumb mechanic. But on top of that, of course, he has endurance, so it makes you sort of hesitant to rushing the team that he's on. He has,
especially back then, there was
paralysis. Remember, his strike cards have a chance to inflict paralysis, which has happened in
happened
to me many times fighting this character back in the day.
Strike,
and then he also does have
that.
What is it? The double card rescue from his main ability, which was not something you saw that commonly back when this guy came out. Just a really annoying character. He was supporting I mean, he had a lot of good qualities too, like supporting the team, and
I saw it was a little
he had the team heal his main ability as well. Like, this is a really good unit. Oh yeah, he also he had the Zenkai Fat Boo green card.
Oh yeah, he sealed strike.
Fat Boo strike card lock in when he switched in. So
that was
also annoying to fight against.
Hardly.
But yeah, this guy, I mean, it's mostly just the green card. Like, remember, he drew a
bro, he hates AoE greens, but yet there's some units here that aren't on the list yet. I don't know if they'll even make it. They got more disturbing greens than this. Like, you know, I guess he mentioned the tag droids, but like, there's a lot worse greens than AoE green. You know, I guess it's like the no skill factor of like you literally don't have to play the game. You could just sidestep spam, and then if they do something that initiates it all, okay, I get a combo for free, right? I get the annoyance of that, and it's more annoying back then than nowadays, I would say, because there's a lot of cover change. You know, okay, the 4s do an AoE green. Well, I'll just swap into my overall cover change of hit, UGB, blah 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 blah. More annoying back in the day than now, but I get the annoyance of it. I just don't know if it validates it here.
For the first time
for me personally,
too. So when you fought a Majub, you know you were going to get Majub. I used to call it getting Majubed because, again, it just happened every time. Like, people would just float up and use the green card, and you had no time to react to it at all.
Yeah,
it was dumb. So I hope that they have learned from this mistake. And
they haven't done it ever again.
Like the wind-up animation for AoE green cards, like
they haven't done it again.
Literally unreactable in the future. So, Majub,
that was funny.
I could have easily put this character higher on this list.
Do I have to say anything? Of course I agree. He was the most toxic one of that trio. That movie trio didn't even have synergy. They were just, I'm big strong man. I'm big strong man that does a lot of damage. I'm big strong man that locks you the fuck in. Good luck dealing with us. It was the only team in the game. If you didn't run this team, I remember they tried releasing Red Janemba. Oh my god, he's meant to stop this Gohan. Are you fucking kidding me? He ain't do jack shit, because guess what? They were covered by Vegeta, and on top, they literally have a unique where I think it's something with like green card cost increase or something like that Red Janemba has. He ain't do jack shit to this Gohan. Shockingly enough, he had 0 play, 0 potential, 0 anything. And then also Green Super Gogeta came out. Bro sucked ass, so you couldn't kill Vegeta. They tried so hard to put this Gohan down, and they failed. Like, Red Tapion, I think, sealed greens or blues or some shit. DBS Yellow Bardock came out. That's when Red Stars dropped, by the way. And he did jack shit. Everyone did jack shit that was meant to like, oh, stop Gohan, stop Bojack, stop Vegeta. No one did anything. That team ran around so long. He was the forefront of toxicity. They tried stopping him the most, and they failed over and over and over. Yeah, he should be even higher, but here, perfectly fine. This unit gave me, like, migraines. Like, talk about AoE green cards. He has one. Just having to experience him locking you in, you get comboed when he has his transformation, you're dead. Gone. Boom. See ya. You lose the match. You have to help your Vegeta can come back. You have to help you do perfect drop combos and predict their Bojack swaps. And you have to kill them. They're not that weak. Gohan, transformation unit for your defenses. Vegeta, transforming unit for your defenses. Bojack, you have to drop against because you're terrified of that cover change. And that's when you learn how to drop combo in Dragon Ball Legends. Purple Bojack with this goddamn Gohan. Number 5.
Are you one of the millions?
God damn it,
TD
Bank. I was gonna say T-Mobile.
T-Mobile has price.
All right, coming in at number.
I honestly would put Gohan above Droids. I'm just saying. I would put Gohan like 4 or 3. I don't know who's up 4 or 3, but like 4 or 3. I swear on everything. Droids, get it. Again, if I understand it, I'm here. You guys get it. I get it. We understand. We've played this shit. We dealt with this shit. I think Red, Purple, even, during Anniversary, that very gas team of Whis, MEY, and Droids. It wasn't MEY doing anything. It was MEY stalling. Oh my god, Auto Mechanic. I could be annoying as fuck and little pest. Whis spawning green cards clearly for the Droids. That was a Droids team. That wasn't MEY being good and, him being on boost and him being annoying. Don't get me wrong. He was annoying, but, like, he wasn't anything compared to this fucking duo of terror here. The Droids, how they work, of giving support per new combo landed, and having green cards being able to be spawned for them, and then all the bullshit around them. They were way too good. They made everybody irrelevant. They made UBK, Jiren, fucking whoever else came out prior to or after them for months on months and months, irrelevant. Like, you would copium say USG and USV were good enough to stop the Droids because, that's blue-yellow. You could stop the Droids, just color counter them out in a setting. Then you'd also have a sequence where, hey, they could just murder one of your units within a 3-timer count matchup setting. It was tough. 2 Ultras could barely even take them out. It was like, I remember running blue, yellow. VB got a Zenkai. It was USG, USV. And I was like, all right, I can deal with the androids here. Next match, I got fucking one comboed by them, like, I don't know, within 30 counts, I had lost the match. I was like, oh, okay. And it's clearly a coin flip match, because it's like, oh, I ran double blues here. Here's a yellow. Here's Dragon Fist coming in trying to be somebody when he's nobody, but he's a fraud because he's on boost with Tapion with double Zenkai buff. It was hell. They were hell. They deserve here maybe a little bit lower, but they're in the area. No debate.
Well, you guys knew this was coming at some point on the list, and here we are at number 4 with Blue Super Saiyan Bardock.
I like how slow he's saying it because he hates him so much. Yes, this unit was very toxic. That's why I don't think Red Gogeta should have made the list, because while Red Gogeta was very strong, Red Gogeta was run with Bardock, right? People ran Revhan with Bardock, Puddle with Bardock, every single motherfucking Super Saiyan under the sun with Bardock, Namagoku with Bardock. It's because of Bardock that they were so toxic. I don't have to go over them. I agree. If I agree, I'm just going to move forward and say, yeah, that toxicity was very high. What they did to the game and how they just essentially ruined a lot of sequences that could have been more fun. This unit was a culprit of that. They made a fucking Zenkai to stop DBL07 04S, aka Blue Bardock. I remember that because Goresh would say it. DBL07 04S, DBL07 04S. That is his ID. He is so toxic, we remember his goddamn ID. There's nothing else I could even say about that. We know. Thank God Super Saiyan teams aren't really that good. They don't deserve it because they were fucking cancer.
List here. All right, so I understand this might be a very controversial pick for my number 3.
I'm going to just say, I don't think he's this high, but I do agree he's on this list. I mentioned him earlier. I think he's on this list. I'm curious what Goresh thinks.
On the list. Again, you could really interchange the top, like, 5. You could probably interchange the top 6 on this list. Besides number 1, I will not concede at all.
I think
number 1 is number 1. You guys will see who he is in a second. But 2 through 6.
Wait. Who's number 1? Wait. What? FSK's not on here, he said. Namek's not on here. Who the hell was worse than them? FSK ruled the game for over a year. Almost 2 years. Wasn't it near 2 years? Wasn't it something like that? Namagoku changed the game. Well, I'm curious
you could probably interchange them. So this Rose can be as high as 2 on the list, but he could be as low as 6, I'd probably say. Again, this is my personal subjective
I'd put like 8.
list. You could have your own list, but this is my list.
Yeah.
I have not really experienced a more annoying character to fight than this guy. And
I feel that.
Very, very, very
paralysis.
Very, very long time.
Fuck it.
one of the least fun metas that I've ever experienced, and it's mainly because of this guy. A lot of people will point to Ultra Goju Blue as being like the main culprit of not enjoying the game right now. But I will tell you right now, I have way less fun fighting this character than I do fighting Goju Blue.
If Paralyze kicks in, I agree. If Paralyze doesn't kick in, I don't agree. But there's a fine line between not getting paralyzed, meaning you have to stand still and just wait for them to throw their blue card like a fucking dumbass, or playing aggressive, getting caught because, well, you want to play the game. Shockingly, you download the game, you want to play it. I know it's a crazy concept for a lot of players, but yeah, that's a thing you want to do. Then you get caught because of it. The steamroll because of Paralyze is probably why. I get it. It's just not consistent enough for me to say Rose could be this high. For me, at least. Obviously, it's just my opinion.
2 reasons for that. The first, less responsible reason is because of what he's doing defensively. It's just the disrupt on this character is so egregious. I'll just go through
I hear downplay
everything
on it.
he's
like
doing.
He has no defensive utility.
So when you change cover with this character, he's getting type neutrality for 5 counts. He's destroying a card.
Defensive.
He's getting
minus card draw speed.
Oh, sorry, he's sealing your main ability for 5 counts, and he's lowering your card draw speed for 5 counts.
Does he reduce key?
So he's basically rendering your character useless.
Yeah.
when he changes cover.
Basically.
Not only that, if he enters the battlefield while he has 50% or less HP, he is stealing your main ability once again for 5 counts, and he's destroying 3 of your cards, and then he also gets buffs when he's hit. So it's like you cover change with this character.
I still hear he has no
he's
defensive
under 50%
utility,
HP,
by
you're
the
destroying
way.
their entire
Somehow.
hand, you're going type neutral, you're destroying their Dragon Balls, you're locking their main ability, and you're lowering their card draw speed. And this character is getting ridiculous amounts of buffs from getting
He's
hit.
a little good.
And
maybe
it's just like, how do you play the game? Like, how do you actually play the game? Every time he gets touched,
I think the blue card situation's coming up. Pixar.
Meet the resident.
Okay, you copyrighted for that.
He's reducing your Dragon Balls. He's buffing himself up. It's just it gets ridiculous. Like this character.
I think there's something he's not going to mention because he's going to mention the blue card next. This unit stacks card draw speed more than any unit in the entire game could ever stack card draw speed. So it's per switch, right? So he comes in, he has card draw speed. Then from there, you're going to swap because he hurts you. He fucking hits hard. Shockingly enough, he hits hard. There's only 2 purples in the game that are like running around. GT17 and then UGB. GT17 is really not that common, but like UGB is. His stoppers don't really exist. It's just UGB that's running like consistently. He's just going to go and beat the ever living shit out of you because he's going to keep stacking card draw speed. You have to hope you get the cover change, right? Or you have a universal cover change. If you don't, have fun. Give him 4x card draw speed with 3 ultimates, and he has infinite fucking cards because he has such a low key cost on his strikes and blast. You get so screwed by this unit steamroll effect, it is wild.
I don't even want to like attack this character. Like you don't want to quick attack him. You don't want to tap attack him. You don't want to tap punch him. And this is one of the reasons as well that I feel that it's becoming more and more essential for characters to actually not just have 1 times card draw speed, but even 2 times card draw speed. When you're fighting characters like this that reduce your card draw speed, like you have to accommodate for that in your kit as a damage dealing character now. So like we are actually getting to the point where it's almost becoming like it's not essential yet. We're not at that level yet. But like you're really gonna be on the lookout for characters that have a very, very consistent way of getting multiple levels of card draw speed,
or if they just spawn
which
cards,
is what we see from characters like Beast Gohan. The Super Saiyan 3 Tag Goku and Vegeta can do it, but it's through like the Ultra Super Vegeta mechanic that they have, which is every time they use a card, which they can't do when they fight this character because they get their cards destroyed and then they can't get card draw speed. And
you need like spawner cards,
and they already have massive key issues.
Off
so
doing
it
a
gets
card,
very, very tough for them to be able to do anything against Rose. This Rose is completely like a massive shutdown character against this Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta. Unfortunately, even though they can get the type advantage with the Vegeta side.
It's not really type advantage.
But the main reason why I have this character so high on the list is because, of course, his blue card effect. The blue card, so this character
it's crazy,
card, right?
I know.
If you're a type neutral character and you get hit by this blue card, you are at least going to have half your HP removed. Simple. And then if it's not removed from the blue card effect, it'll get removed via the heavy bleed and the strong poison, right? So you got that to worry about. But then, of course, Of course, the biggest issue is the fact that he has a, I think it's a 40% chance to inflict paralysis. Why is that on there? And it's not the fact that it inflicts
that's a good
40%
question.
chance to inflict paralysis, but he removes your
Buff
buffs.
effects.
He removes your buffs on activation.
So you're not immune to
And
it.
then the
You can always get
attribute downgrades
paralyzed.
are
Every
afflicted
unit.
upon
Because no
landing
unit
the
has
card.
cannot be
The
canceled.
reason why that's so
buff
ridiculous
effects.
is because we do have characters that have certain immunities to buff effect or to abnormal conditions like this. So, for example, Blue 17 applies like the buff effect to the entire enemy team, or sorry, the entire ally team. Like if you're using Blue 17, when the match begins, all of your allies on your team will have sort of like an anti-attribute downgrade effect.
Anti-bullshit mechanic.
Well, guess what? This Rose uses his blue card, and he just removes that from your character.
Because there's no cannot be
And then when
canceled.
he hits your character,
buff
he can
effect.
paralyze you.
Yeah.
And I will tell you right now,
stupid.
if you get paralyzed by this character's blue card, and then he just starts comboing you, you probably lose. As simple as that. You probably just lose the game.
That's why every single time I get paralyzed by Rose, no matter the situation, I'm type advantage, type disadvantage, I don't give a fuck. No matter my sub counts, anything, I always swap. Because if that shit procs, you can't win from that. You could try to win when you have one vanish, 3 fucking swaps against you. You could try. It's probably not going to work. But I'd rather that than get fucking paralyzed.
Now, here's the main issue with this. The reason why I actually despise fighting this character so much is because of the fact that they made this guy's blue card a short animation.
Yes.
I think there's a
Should've been
very,
long.
very easy way to fix this guy, and it's just to make his blue card a long animation.
So if
That's
you
it.
miss, you
That's
get
all they have to
fucked.
do. Just make his blue card a long animation, and it removes so much RNG from.
It's kind of like MEY, and people didn't complain about MEY's blue card that much. Like, it was complained about, but like not as heavily as like Rose's blue is now. MEY's is a short animation, and it's like you could just throw that blue card 24/7, and then he could auto dodge because, well, you expect him to either 50-50 sidestep or hit you, but in reality, all they're going to do is stand still. So you're forced to sidestep, lose your vanish, then you're forced into a 50-50 where they stand still while they win the setting because you're still forced to fucking swap because you have no vanish at that point, and you don't want to think the blue card's going to hurt hard, especially because MEY was on boost during his peak prime, obviously. And then from there, it was just a really shitty setting, and that blue card should have been a long animation, especially because it lowered sub count on a hit and some shit like that. Like, it was really too good. It's not as bad as this, but like, the concept of overly powered, just big, Oonga Boonga type units, blue cards, it just follows through with every God Key character, it feels like, because it's now MUI, now it's Rose. Who the fuck is next? We don't know.
Fighting this unit. And the reason why is because a lot of people will just toss out a blue card from this character at long range. They won't just wait. They won't strategically use it. They'll just wait for you to be doing nothing, and then they'll just throw the blue card out.
Fucking right about that.
Now, normally when people do that against you, at least at higher ranks, a lot of times you will often end up just purposely eating the blue card because you'd rather preserve your vanish and stuff like that.
Yes.
You cannot do that versus this Rose. First of all, you're gonna probably just take at
60%.
least a third of your HP is gone from that blue card hitting you. And then on top of that, you have a 40%
Depending
chance
how built
to
up he is.
get paralyzed. And if you get paralyzed, you have to switch. Like, you actually just have to switch because you won't ever like. There have been times where I've been paralyzed and I haven't been able to play the game for like 8 counts. so
you
if
just
that happens, you
auto-swap.
lose the game on the spot. And so you can't just sit there and eat this guy's blue card. Now, the reason why this blue card being a short animation is so annoying is because then you obviously have to dodge the blue card, and then you have a coin flip. Here we go with the coin flips. You have a coin flip. Do you attack right away, thinking that he'll wait, or do you wait, thinking that he'll jump, and then you could attack him? If you lose the coin flip,
this video
and
hits
Rose
me.
starts
This is how
comboing
fucking
you,
accurate he is.
most
right now.
likely you'll
just getting
probably
like
lose the character.
flashbacks of matches I
It's
had.
covering all from his thing filling up, and then he gets type neutrality from his main ability. Like, this character has every ability. It seems like it's every mechanic. He has it.
Imagine he wasn't
hard,
green.
Multiple ultimates, restores his vanishing gauge. Gets covered
How
in all,
fucking
like,
toxic would that
What does he
be?
not do?
Woo!
It's just a really annoying character to fight.
We're
and I
lucky
feel like
he's
it was
green.
very,
Really, we are.
Very simple
UGB puts him in
to make
place
that
sometimes, but like
one adjustment,
we're lucky.
which is just to make his blue card a long animation to discourage people from just literally mindlessly clicking blue cards over and over and over again. Which, by the way, He draws like 5 blue cards a match. He gets 2 from his green cards, and then he just gets other blue cards.
He gets
drawing them.
He gets
thanks
it.
to his like triple card draw speed that he gets from you switching characters, because God forbid you switch characters. So it's just I don't know.
I could say this better myself.
I would just rather not play the game and continue to fight this unit. To be honest with you, it's just really annoying. I hate this character. I hate paralysis. Remove it.
Yes.
Coming in at number 2.
Whoa! I mean, I get that. Yeah, okay. I understand it. Again, number 2 is a little fucking wild to me, because, like, number 2 is really high up there, you know, but he is the auditor of I'm a fucking gimmick. Lock also has a team heal on green, by the way. For whatever fucking reason, this hero unit team heals on green card for whatever dumb shit they made that reasoning. By the way, he's from Second Annie, and people are still complaining about him today. Goes to show, how the fuck did he age so well? That makes no goddamn sense. He is the, again, auditor of bullshit. Paralyze, poison, lock-in. I mean, what else could you even say about this unit?
Hero Hercule. This character released during the 2nd year anniversary, and is still used.
They want a good aging hero.
I mean, if you actually look back at the 2nd anniversary and look at all the characters that released during the 2nd anniversary,
weren't they immune?
Which character is used the most? Hercule. And the answer is this character.
Oh yeah, VB was immune to this guy. VB was immune to his bullshit, but right now, I ran Hercule recently. There's 3 units I think that are immune. GT17, the Boo Duo, and then Beast. Beast isn't even that common right now. There's 3 units. LF17 I think is immune as well. I think. I'm pretty sure. There's nobody really immune. Back then, there was more immune to right now. So his bullshit still prevails to this day, because we have all this, buff effect and, attribute upgrades can't be canceled now. But we don't have immunity to abnormal conditions. We really don't have that anywhere. Rosé's biggest issue we just mentioned, aside from the paralyzed, which is abnormal condition, but poison, bleed. We don't have very much immunities. This guy fucking thrives for me.
You could make the
That's
argument
why he's
based
up here.
Of that this is the best character.
Or even in top 10, which I'd agree.
Anniversary. It's this guy. Better than Vegito Blue. I just don't understand the reasoning behind this character. Like, did they think it was funny? Was this supposed to be like some kind of like inside?
They wanted to get Hercule unit. Hey,
I don't really understand.
I respect
the
it.
Point of this
Not really.
Existing. This is
how they did them.
If you asked somebody to, if somebody asked you,
this part's hilarious to me.
Hey, would you recommend that I download this game? Would you recommend that I play this game? And then you said yes to them, and then they fought this character. Do you really think they're going to keep the game installed on their phone?
Do you think they'd be your friends still?
Right? This is like
the
definition of like not having fun is this character right here. I mean, he's not a good character. Like, I actually... What's the best way to describe this? I don't think including this character on your team is like a good idea if you actually want to win matches.
I agree with him, but I just want to say a fun fact. I believe top 5 last season, someone was running Hercule the entire season. That's how, again, people think this game actually requires some skill. I say all the time, this game is beyond skillless. You never have to like think. It is so simple-minded. You literally do nothing and you win. Like, it's just how the game is. That's how the game maybe shouldn't be, but like it leans toward that a lot more than, strategizing and thinking. Look at these fucking units on this list. Like, they epitomize brain rot, right? It's just this unit once again. It's interesting that he is him at that rate.
Of course, you can have some ridiculous matches where like this guy locks in your opponent
top
and
5
he actually can't play the game because he gets paralyzed like 8 times in a row. Which
top
certainly
5.
Can happen with the character
in the
like
world.
This, but it's just, again, it's such RNG.
The entire world.
The entire match just becomes a coin flip with this character on your team.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with this completely. I need to like hear more. Trust me, I fucking get it. I don't like Hercule. Use them. I felt bad even using them. It was not a good look for Hercule fans. This is overly done toxic, but hey, maybe it's a good look for them because they actually had to use a unit that has aged well for almost 3 years now, which How the fuck is that the case for a hero unit? You're asking the wrong person, because I don't fucking know why they let that happen either. Number 1. Let's see.
Here we go. Number 1 on the list is going to be LF Final Form. Cool.
Alright, so we're gonna be here. Oh, this is okay, this is a long explanation. Alright. So I'm gonna say no. I don't even think Cooler makes it in top 5 of this list. I understand the reasonings that are probably gonna come up, like he literally didn't let you play the game. You know, he has not a lock-in, but sub count up, and that essentially allows you to do 3 strikes, you know, back-to-back consecutive strikes. And then he made USV just be irrelevant, you know, 3 months after release, and he just killed units, right? He went from this situation of, you know, number 1 to number 2 USV to gone. Like, USG was run because he was blue and he's Super Saiyan. Like, you could kind of cope it, like, all right, Cooler versus USG. Who can do it? Whoever does it wins the match, right? That's just what you do at that point. And people were running that very often. They would run, like, I think it was like Redhon, USG, and Cooler. And it was like, okay, well, we both got Super Saiyans. We're both going to fuck each other over. Whoever wins against Cooler wins the match. And it was just all up to Cooler in the match. He was number 1 on release. Like, his downfall was cataclysmic, but, like, he was number 1. To say all that, though, once again, I refer to the concept of back then versus FSK or Namek Goku, and these are just number 1s to me. Either or, I would say Namek Goku more than FSK, but FSK is more comparable to Cooler because, well, you actually clicked cards and you won. Namek Goku was you fucking hide and you win. Whoever hides better and counters by hiding better won the game, right? FSK, you click a simple card, you probably killed if he was last man standing, or even second man standing, because all the amplification, the hybrid equips, all that bullshit. Cooler essentially was FSK. The reason I say that is because back then there wasn't much cover change. Who was really blast cover change that was like in the game at that point, right? Not much. There was maybe I couldn't even reference something. I guess VB had blast cover change. VB. Really? VB? There was nobody. So FSK was literally Cooler with better setup, better team, better equipment, better quite literally everything, but he didn't full say stop to X type of units. I think because Cooler killed off a certain type of units is why he's put this high, but FSK was Cooler. It's just you didn't have the sub count up, but you didn't need the sub count up. That's the difference. Like, no one had blast cover change. No one was running anything but FSK. It was FSK or die. Cooler, while it was very much highly used Cooler, it wasn't FSK level of Cooler, if that makes any sense. Just to mention before I hear his explanation here, units I'm very surprised that didn't make it. OG Riku, when his Zenkai happened, are you fucking kidding me? Green, yellow Saiyans was the most toxic shit in the world. Like, for months pre-Legends Fest of GV and Sword of Hope, if Fat Boo made it, should have been DKP, because DKP, what the fuck was that shit? Fat Boo and DKP? Are you kidding me? That was the most bullshit shit in the world at that time. Even, you know, Regen in general, Purple 21, Super Baby 2, Fat Boo, that shit was just cancer. And then there's one more I'm thinking of that I just forgot off the top of my head here. I wouldn't say Revhan. I would say, wait, who am I missing? I just had them on top of my head. Oh my god. Who am I forgetting? Who was it? Could you say UBK? I don't know. If you could say Kefla honorable mention, I guess you could say UBK. Again, obviously I think Namek Goku FSK should be here. Who the fuck am I forgetting? It's not LF. That's the thing. Who was it? Oh, if I remember, I'll come back to it. But let me hear this reasoning.
I could make a 20-minute video of me just talking about this character. But there's no argument.
USG is pretty toxic.
There's no like, oh, you know, this guy could be 5 or he could be 2. Like, this is
USG locked in and went neutral. That's better than Cooler. Listen, I'm just saying, I get it. Cooler was easier because you have to have some like dead ally bullshit, but like, bro went neutral and locked in. You can't be more toxic than that, and yet I don't even hear it mentioned, which is shocking to me. USG was more toxic than people give him credit for. I don't really know why. people just say, no, he was balanced. He was actually really fair. No, that dude was toxic as shit. USG was not fun. He was toxic. I don't think MUI makes this list, by the way. If you think that, I couldn't even fucking fathom how, because he was carried by Red, Purple, LF Androids, who are on the list.
Is a solid,
that wasn't the I was
set
mention,
in
by the way.
stone.
I can't remember.
Probably never going to change. Most hated character ever in this game's 5-year history at this point. This is a clear shot number 1. This is my most hated character of all time in the game. Legends Limited Final Form Cooler.
I don't hear that often.
So I'll just try and give the
Usually
TLDR why I think this character is just the single worst release of all time. So this character comes out, I believe it was September of last year. I think it was either September or October. I think it was December. I think it was September. Maybe like potentially late August, but I think it was September. So he comes out like 2 months after Ultra Super Vegito comes out. Now, what does Final Form Cooler do? He is a direct counter to Super Saiyan characters, and of course he's red.
Like I mentioned, the reasoning probably is that he fucked over USV
so
fast. It was kind of like a fuck you to everybody.
Massive, enormous counter to Ultra Super Vegito.
Killed
To
him.
the people who reach into a carton of warm, crispy, golden, perfectly salted
still
McDonald's
can't think of
world
I was trying
famous
to think of.
fries and return with just one. Who are
I'm
you?
sure there's
And
something I
how
just
do
can't
you do
remember.
that? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
There is. I just
Who was
remember.
like
That
not
sucks.
even 2 months old when this character comes out.
Yeah, USV had just like left boost.
Why?
Cooler drop. Barely.
What is the point?
PO
They like Ultra Super Vegito was like one of the most well-designed characters. Honestly, we've in terms of like a main headlining character for either Anniversary or Legends Festival, Ultra Super Vegito has to be up there as like one of, if not the single most like well-designed headlining characters we've ever gotten. He's not really doing anything toxic. The only kind of toxic thing he does is his ability to chain his green card off of cover changes, because that's just
Okay, we gotta relax. USV was not fair. If we're gonna say anybody was fair from like an Anniversary headliner, it was Super Saiyan Blue Goku. That the only fair unit ever from an Anniversary headliner, probably Super Saiyan Blue Goku. First Anniversary. That's it. Maybe Rage Trunks, but he was such a wall. You literally you had to run Rage Trunks. Blue Goku, you didn't need him. You didn't, because it just wasn't a full-on 1v3 unit. But he definitely had potential to 1v3. He wasn't like this you need him or you lose, but he wasn't this shitty unit either. That's a good designed unit. USV, I strictly remember the numbers, the calcs. He would, with the boost, and maybe that's why they did it. Who knows? I assume Cooler was not meant to be a fucking red unit on initial thought process of, hey, let's screw over every fucking player that's summoned for Anniversary, the biggest celebration of the year, at least for what it's meant to be. I assume, the numbers, the damage calcs, when on boost, he would actually out-damage the combo compensation because of how much he debuffed every new card he did. He debuffed. He stacked card draw speed. That's pretty toxic, by the way. Rosé's syndrome was too much fucking card draw speed, too many cards. He's just annoying as shit because of that. USV had a situation where he out-damaged because of how much he debuffed, because he was on boost, plus the damage he debuffed, plus most units were immune. VB was, but VB was not every single match. VB was try to be cope run because LF Androids, right? USV was very toxic on boost. Clearly not as bad as others, but there is no way to say USV was not toxic. He was really, really toxic on boost. Not as bad as others, but still he was.
I mean, you just get lucky with the cover change.
A green card. It was bad.
I guess you just get a free combo from him.
Out-damaged combo. You can't stop him at that point.
Besides that, he's
didn't
a
make
very
any sense.
Well-rounded, balanced character that isn't really
not
doing
balanced.
anything
He
that
was
I would
not
consider to be ultra toxic. And yet they felt the need to
toxic, man.
mega ultimate counter him.
Now killing him isn't good,
with this
but
cooler.
he was toxic
When
to
this
an
cooler
extent.
came out, you just didn't see
There.
any ultra super. He felt the face of the planet when this cooler came out, because he was unrunnable.
Saw
You
USG.
couldn't risk running him next to this guy running around. You were asking to lose.
Yeah.
So that's,
Even if Redfall was out,
I
he
guess what
couldn't.
this character was designed to do,
Didn't
but I have
matter.
no idea why they decided to do that so fast. Whereas the androids were running around still pretty much unchecked for how many months was that at that point? Like 5 months.
They attempted
and they decided to
double ultra,
counter Vegeta,
and then they
instead of
killed
the androids, whatever.
Vegito, who helped
So this
kill
character,
droids.
the main issue I have with this
It makes
character
sense.
is the fact that he locks you in for 3 counts. I think it's 3 counts. when
3
he
counts
uses the
sub
striker.
count.
Let me just quickly double check that. I believe
3
it is
counts
3.
count up. That means 3 strikes can be done if you just auto-clicked. 3 strikes you had
here.
done. If not, a strike
counts,
into like
sorry.
a main into
He
ult.
inflicts all enemies with 2 sub
Oh,
counts.
it's 2 counts.
And
Well, it
so that activates
is
once
3, but it
every
goes
time
to
he
2
switches
like,
in and then
very
back
fast.
out and then comes back in. You can use it again. So the reason why that's so ridiculous is because when this character released, he was just so far and away the strongest offensive character in the game that you had 2 options. You either predicted that he would go right for the strike card, in which case you would want to switch to a strike cover change character,
Usually USG.
or you would predict that he would drop the combo, which means that you would, not
Yeah, the
switch
coin flip.
and just
Yes,
predict that he would
very
drop
toxic.
and swipe so you would avoid getting hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you lost the coin flip, you lost the game.
Yes.
The entire
Once again,
match
FSK was
decided upon
this.
whether
It's just
the
that you
person
didn't have to
using
drop.
cooler
You just blast,
would
blast,
drop
blast.
with the strike card.
You won.
Or not drop with the
That's
strike
it.
card.
That's more toxic to
And
me.
because
at
of the
least.
snowball effect of how strong this character was on release, if you guessed wrong and he got his combo off on you and he locked you in and he continued
That
wailing
unit
on
died.
you for however long he was
unit
able to,
died.
because remember he
You
gets
pop
cover null
that
and
strike,
he nullifies endurance to the main
pop
ability.
main.
You probably lost. Like
Dead.
there was no like super bulky character that really could withstand the
You were forced to run
punishment
Rev
from this
Han,
cooler. You
so
pretty
you
much
wouldn't get killed
You lost. Like if this
every
cooler
single
touched
match
you,
so
you were
fast.
dead because you were locked
You were
in and you
forced.
couldn't do anything and you lost.
Yeah.
Right.
There's cooler
he
USG
could
Rev
put
Han.
cards in on you before you could even switch characters. And so that interaction of you essentially having a coin flip to survive every single time he entered the battlefield, it just created
tough.
an environment where there was like literally no matches that were determined by skill. It was, do you drop combo or not drop combo? Oh, you guessed wrong, you lose. Oh, you guessed right. At least
He's
you get
right.
to live another live for like another, I don't know. You get to live until it happened again. you got to live until cooler switched back out and then back in. That's how the game was. And so what you ended up seeing was teams that were just straight up like mega juicing up this character. So you'd have like double Zenkai buffs with like hero nail on the bench.
Oh yeah.
Full offensive coolers who would just
I still
kill you
saw
with two
movies a
cards
lot more.
when locking
To be
you in.
fair, but I get what he's referring to.
It was just like the most
It was like
that. So there was a
cooler
point
puddle
where we had
on some.
this LF cooler released.
Yeah, I know.
I think it was like a
Puddle,
2-week
but, like,
span of time
damn.
where we had cooler and then we
came
had
out?
the Ultra Broly release.
Who?
The span of time in between when this cooler came
Mid
out and when
stars.
Ultra Broly released, that like 2 span of time, I would consider that to be the single worst meta in the game's history, and I don't even think it's close. Because every single match was just determined by the coin flip of if cooler was dropping this combo or not. And if you guess,
I don't agree with that. That's probably essentially all, right? The biggest thing being that, sub count up. Once again, for me, if I'm thinking about it, what's worse? At least I have a situation to get a coin flip instead of I got 2 blasted by FSK. You know what I mean? Or I didn't get to click any cards in general by Namek Goku. That's just how I view it, at least. I think that's more toxic. Where you physically and you are not allowed to play the game, more toxic than being able to get a coin flip at least. I know it's a low bar, but that's how toxic these units have been. FSK, you didn't even have a situation to play the game if you were on the receiving end. You were dead. Oh, the other unit, it was Android 18. I fucking used her. Yeah, she was toxic. Well, not as bad as FSK because they were in the same meta, and clearly FSK ruled over, but yeah, no, she was toxic. I don't know how I forgot her. Overall, interesting list. Cooler number 1, I definitely am surprised by. Not mentioning the units I mentioned prior to a little bit ago. It was interesting. I thought they'd be mentioned somewhere in this. But let me guys think of my reaction to Goresh's ranking the characters hated most throughout the game's history. His opinion and my opinion of his opinion and my opinion as well of them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I did not think this video would be this long, but his video's long, my video's long. See you guys in the next one.